Hello, sorry guys, I'm having some technical difficulty, so just give me 2 seconds. One second. Hello. Hey, hello. Sorry guys, I was having some issues with the original live that I had scheduled, and that was on me, so sorry about that. But welcome, I'm so glad that you guys are here. I'm not expecting a big crowd or anything, but I wanted to come on live. One, because I really want to start doing some YouTube lives, and right now seems like a great time to jump in and do it. Hello. And then two, I find these to be a lot easier than sitting here and talking to a camera. I like being able to interact with y'all. So super happy that you guys are here. We are going to talk a little bit about our row 3 of my block of the month club. So you can see behind me, which way do we go? This is the first 3 rows. So I know I didn't get to do a video for February. So this is kind of just to talk a little bit about block of the month and how we're doing it. And then also if you guys have any questions or comments, feedback, anything like that, I would love to hear from you guys. Of the people that are currently viewing, how many of you are doing the block of the month? So you should have gotten March earlier today. So this is what the cover looks like for that. So we are on row 3. Yay, Miranda, yay. Okay, excellent. We're on row 3, which is amazing. We're a quarter of the way there. So very similar to the previous month, we have our instructions page. So this is basically how you're going to put it together. So there are more sections in row 3. There are 27 sections. So take it one section at a time. I know sometimes that can feel overwhelming. Some feedback that I received from last month was asking if I could put a little like 1-inch guide so that you can ensure that you are printing it at the correct size. So I will do that going forward. So on every page for just the pattern pieces, I'll make sure there is a little 1-inch guide so that you can just confirm that that's the right size that you need. But it went together really easily. We're starting to see some of the bird come together, and then we have part of our little beehive, which is really fun. I have not put it together yet as far as joining my rows. So I think I'm going to do like a separate video, or maybe even do it on live or something for combining the sections together. Somebody had asked in the private group that we're in if I could do like little markers for matching the points. And unfortunately, the way that the program works for Quilt Assistant is that because I'm printing it by row, I can't do those alignment markers for it to attach row by row because I'm printing them separately. So if I was printing all of them at once, I could do that, and that would probably be helpful. Excuse me. But the fact that I'm doing it each row, it's not going to have the alignment markers in the correct place. So I can't do that. But what I will do is kind of show you how I go about matching my points. So I never really use alignment markers at all on any of my patterns. So I'll go through, and based on just looking at the rows together like this, you can kind of see what points need to match. And then I'll show you my method for matching them. So Miranda's done 1 row. 2 retreats in April. So that's the perfect opportunity, Miranda, to do that. So that's awesome. It's been a really fun block of the month. I can't wait to see this whole quilt come together. It's I really think it's going to be beautiful when it's done. And so something I haven't mentioned yet, but I am going to be giving you guys a bonus pattern, which are going to be different cornerstones that you can add. So if you want the quilt to be bigger, you can add a border and then these cornerstones, and I think it's going to look really cool. I'm not going to give it away as to what the cornerstones are going to look like, but I think it's going to be really fun and kind of tie the whole quilt together and make it a little bit bigger for those that want it to be like a bed quilt or something. Yeah, so I think that's going to be really fun. But having done some of it, so I know, probably all of you have not done a lot of the rows yet. Miranda said she's only done one. But based on what you have done or seen, do you guys have any questions or comments or issues or anything you think I could do differently? I'd really like to make sure that I am, giving you guys exactly what you need in order to be successful in making this quilt. So doing the videos, I think, are really fun, but I'm kind of lost as to like what should I do? Like, what do you guys want to see in these videos that's going to be helpful for you guys? I thought it would be fun to maybe do like a live stream for as I'm like sewing it up, so you guys can see kind of how I'm sewing it and do almost like a sew along. I could do that, but then would that be better done after I release the block? Because I don't know that I want to do 2 of these quilts. So that's kind of the question here. I'm not sure what to do. So let me know in the comments, in the chat, what you'd like to see. Miranda, I really want you to make a video going over how you FPP, kind of like how we did in the summit video. Okay, so just like this is my method for how I do FPP. I can absolutely do that. That is something I want to do anyway, so that's perfect. So maybe then for when I do the next month, so April's row, I can film kind of my process for how I do it. It is slightly different based on how big the pieces are. So like you can see here, this is a pretty large piece. So I will show you kind of my tips and tricks with dealing with those. And then there are some small pieces. This month isn't too bad, but you can see maybe that would be considered pretty small for you guys. So I can show you how I deal with those as well. But really, it's taking one piece at a time. So, okay, let's see. A separate short one. Okay, yeah. So I'll do like a shorter step-by-step. This is my process. I can absolutely do that. Maybe sewing the rows together monthly. I thought about doing that. The issue with that is that it then gets really kind of bulky. What I thought I would do is do it quarterly. So every 3 rows, attach them together. At that point is when I would probably rip out some of the papers so that you're not trying to like finagle all of this big paper under your machine when you're connecting like the two segments together, where we have 3 rows and 3 rows. So I think I will do a video this month with putting these first 3 rows together, and then I can show you exactly what that kind of looks like, or how my method for how I would make sure my points are matching and all of that. I don't know that I'm going to sew them together monthly, though. You guys are absolutely welcome to, though. This is your project, so if you want to sew together monthly as you go, absolutely, please do that. For me, I think I'm going to do every 3 months. And I think that's going to be the best way to do it. And I'll do a video for each time I do that. Because I like to quilt go in the sections. Yeah. Yeah, I think quarterly is a good one. Smart choice. I do the same with my quilts. Smaller sections at a time. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. This is my first foundation paper piecing. Can I use copy paper? Yes. So I actually almost exclusively use copy paper. I did teach a class in Phoenix, Arizona a few weeks ago, and they had printed the patterns for me, and it was on the newsprint. It wasn't as terrible as I thought it would be. However, I still prefer my regular copy paper. So if you're going to use regular copy paper, or really if you're going to use any paper, just make sure that you're using a really small stitch length. So I usually do between like a 1.3 and a 1.5. And that's just going to really perforate that paper for you, and it's going to be a lot easier to rip out. So yes, absolutely use regular copy paper, but just make sure you have that stitch length down. What stitch, okay, sorry, what seam allowance do I leave for the really small pieces? That depends. So sometimes I do go a little bit smaller. They do make a ruler. It's called an add an eighth ruler that is basically makes your seam allowance an eighth of an inch. I don't really use that, but I do sometimes make it a little bit less than a quarter of an inch. Sometimes I leave it at a quarter of an inch. I don't feel like any of these pieces are so small that it's going to be an issue. Um, Maybe once we get down to like the fox and the snowman, we might have some smaller sections or smaller pieces. But yes, you can go down a little bit. I don't know that I quite go to an eighth. I might go between an eighth and a quarter. But you kind of just have to play it by ear and see what makes sense. I will say some of my my patterns, for example, on this piece here, see here, so we have BC1 and then this little piece is BC2. In that situation, you could change, like flip them so that BC2 is actually the first piece. So then you're pushing your seam allowance into the bigger piece. That's fine for the first two pieces, piece 1 and 2. Outside of that, you kind of have to follow that the order of piecing. But for the first two pieces, if piece number 2 is a lot smaller than piece number 1, so for example, again, this BC1 is a little bit bigger than BC2, I would probably make BC2 be the first piece. Does that make sense? And then you can push your seam allowance to the other side. Awesome, yay. Do you guys have any other questions? Let me take this down. Hang on one second, and I will. The worst part with leaving the papers in is that you have to pin it to your design wall. Hang on one second. Let me take these out. Okay, just to give you a close-up here of our section 3 or month 3. This is what that looks like. So you can see there's some smaller pieces, but it's not too crazy. Ignore this thread. So kind of fun. And then this is the back. So again, when I'm piecing, I tend to put my sections together and press my seams open. So that does really help with the bulk a lot to do that open. And then after I pull the paper off of my my finished section or unit or whatever, I then press it again from the back and make sure those seams are really flat. And I use best press or some kind of starch on, especially on the seams, and really like get them flat and nice and good. And that really helps. So recommend that. Thank you. Yay, thanks. It's been a lot of fun. So you can see here, yeah, this is the back. Sometimes your papers will come off a little bit. That's okay. Sometimes I'll glue them back on. Sometimes I'll just leave it. It doesn't matter. Just be careful that you're not pulling, because there are a lot of bias cuts with foundation paper piecing. Just make sure you're not pulling and stretching that fabric. So yeah, so that's the block for this month. And it feels like a lot, but it's really not. So I finished this in about a day and a half, like maybe 6 hours total. So it's not too bad, but just take it one section at a time. Does anybody else have any questions or comments or suggestions for future months on anything that I can do differently? I'm so happy with how people are participating in the private group on my website. So that's been really fun. I love seeing your progress. I love seeing the questions that are coming through, all of that. So please continue to do that. Keep posting pictures, keep asking questions, give suggestions, anything that you think would be helpful to others. Please include it. Cool. Well, that's kind of all that I had. I just kind of wanted to touch base and check in, see how people are doing. For those watching this a little bit later, feel free to post in the comments any feedback that you have, any questions, things like that. But yeah, you can go to my website now. So if you're subscribed to my block of the month, you can go download. You'll download the instructions separately, and that's just going to give you the order of piecing. So similar to how it's been every time. If you have any feedback on that, also let me know. And then again, you have all your pattern pieces, which is going to be helpful. And with that 1 inch block, like people had asked for. Cool, guys. All right. Well, keep posting in the group. I'm excited to see what you guys do. I'm going to go ahead and log off. But I will be doing some more lives here on my YouTube channel. This is actually my first time ever doing a live, so I was kind of just testing it out with you guys to see how it would work, and I think it's going to be really fun. So I will be doing a lot more lives on YouTube where I will do some sew-alongs. I'm going to talk about some of my other patterns that I have coming out, some of my classes that I have. If anybody is interested, I do have a foundation paper piecing design like 101 class that starts in March. So check that out on my website. It's under the virtual classes page, and it's juliushandmade.com. So check that out if you're interested in designing your own FPP patterns. It's a really fun class. It is almost full, so you have a little bit of an opportunity to get in, but I'm hoping that it fills up pretty quickly. So with that said, yeah, I loved seeing you too. Yay. And so Miranda said, loved seeing you. Thanks for being available and helpful. I am completely available to anybody that needs me. So message me on the group page if you'd like to. Message me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I'm happy to help if you have any questions and just want kind of a one-on-one help with that. I'm there for you. So absolutely. All right, y'all. Well, then I will see you next time. Again, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't yet, because I will be doing a lot of lives. I think that's going to be really fun. And I will talk to y'all soon. Okay, take care, guys. Bye.